Actions. Okay, so if you don't know who I am a natural hair story. I got waist beads, spirituality, sisterhood, and locks. Okay, cool. So last night, me and my husband was having a dope conversation. And what I realized is in the beginning of the year, I want to set a template for how we, spiritual women, move for the rest of the year to have the best success, the best balance, the best love, the best relationships. So I started out with my 12 universal laws, and I myself are living by them. I watch my videos all the time. I don't know how many times I gotta tell y'all this. So I can identify and know how to maneuver things so that they work out in my favor. Because that's what life is about, learning yourself and creating your reality. All right, so then I said to myself, spiritual women and dating. Spiritual women and dating. So this is a conversation that comes up maybe on memes, maybe on IG. I don't think it's been any like real forums about dating or being married to a spiritual woman or how she handles herself. Me being a spiritual woman that dated my husband and ended up marrying him, I feel like this is the best time to talk about it. I call myself the Black Unicorn because I've been married twice, baby. How many people you know been married twice and I ain't even 40 yet? So let's get right on into it. So ladies, there's a deeper message in this video. And if you hang around, we all gonna pull this thing together because you know I always base everything on facts and research. So when dating a spiritual woman, we realize that the playing field is open for her to select and choose the correct male. Now, I have been seeing a lot of memes that basically say this: if he is not a vegan, then, I can't date him because he smells a certain way or his body operates a certain way. Or if he's a Christian, I'm not going to be able to date him. I'm not going to church with this man. He doesn't believe in what I believe in. And I do understand where some women are coming from those things. However, there is a much bigger picture at large that I want to get into. When we talk about qualities that are important in dating or being with or even considering a significant other, the qualities should not be that person's religious beliefs or that person's diet. Now, I'm not saying go fuck with a junkie. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying certain things have to be expected. We were all raised in different households, under different parental guidelines, under different rules. We were all raised differently. So there's going to come a time when you go out and venture into your adult life and you realize that you are around a group of like-minded people with different backgrounds. Now you say to yourself, well, what do? Do I tell those like-minded people, or do I tell those wonderful souls that because you weren't raised like me or because you don't think like me, you can't be around me? A lot of times exclusion is the only thing we have as Black people. So if we don't like it, we cutting it off. If we don't like it, we not dealing with it. And I am a firm believer in protecting your motherfucking peace, because it's your responsibility. Nobody knows your ideal definition of peace. So it is your responsibility to some extent to protect your peace. However, when it comes to looking for a soulmate or a deeper bond or a deeper connection, you cannot tell the universe how that thing is going to play out. Your significant other, soul flame, soulmate, twin flame, cosmic connection may come in the form of helping you to grow or helping you to become more understanding. So when you meet this guy and you are super duper vegan, I only eat water and grass, and he like, yeah, give me some of that bacon. Now that puts us in a mindset to say, well, what do we do? He's great, but he's not a vegan. Here's the real tea. There's no one in this holy world that could take you out of your vegan state right now. That was a choice. That was a strong decision. You had to go through peaks and valleys to stay on your vegan path. And trust me, I know, because I was a vegetarian. I never made it to vegan. That's expert level. So there's no way he could put a cow or a pig in front of you and say, sis, you got to eat this or you can't be with me. And the same aspect, you cannot do that to him. So I went to this dope ass lecture, one of the best lectures I went to in 2019. So when the lecture was completely over, it was nothing but a group of conscious minded people, woke brothers and sisters. So at the end of the lecture, somebody raised their hand and said, well, what do you think that I should do? Because my significant other does not like when I go to conscious lectures and when I do spiritual things, ritual. And they basically say that when I'm gone, they tell me to make sure to shake all that spiritual stuff before they come in a Christ-like, holy, Bible thumping house. And I don't know what I should do with her. Okay? So the question, the answer that was given was definitely not the answer that everybody was expecting. And the answer that was given by a very knowledgeable, powerful sister who is in a successful marriage. Let's start there. My mother said, always check the source. Don't get relationship advice from somebody that ain't with nobody. I'm going to say that shit over and over again. You would not go to school and learn from somebody your age that doesn't know more than you, period. So what this beautiful queen said to this gentleman was, everyone is on their own journey and their own path. If you are truly conscious and woke, you understand that. Who are you? Who are you to tell this woman to abandon her God, her beliefs, the way she worships, how her family gets together and pulls their power from different sources, whether it be an inner power, whether it be crystals, whether it be affirmation, whether it be religion, whether it be church, wherever they pull their power, who are you? And in the same aspect, how could you ask someone how can you ask someone to change and you would not be willing to change your spirituality or your practices? So I feel when you go out and you find this significant other, or you already have this significant other, please take spirituality and religion completely out of the bond that you are creating. Now, I know that sounds crazy, but you got to trust me on this. Because the one thing that I always say is we should never become conscious Jehovah's Witnesses. Meaning, you ain't supposed to be knocking on somebody's door when they're in the comfort of their home or their temple, aka their body, and telling them how they should think and how they should believe. Everybody's journey is different. Unfortunately, in America, we all were started with this base of Christianity. And some of us still live there, and some of us have worked their way out of this strong foundation that we were raised on. So you have to be respectful. The things that matter is this gentleman considerate? Is he a good communicator? Does he respect you? Does he have the potential to grow and blossom into something wonderful? Is he understanding, and does he support you? If you say, hey, I think I want to go out and do yoga, did he buy you a motherfucking mat? Or did he say that shit is dumb? Like these are the things that I believe matter when it comes to selecting a significant other. And I feel like it's very, very important because I put bullet points. You have to be respectful. Now, if you check out my video of 12 Universal Laws, you will understand that you cannot expect anything that you don't emit. So anything that you don't vibrate, you cannot expect. So when you meet this person, maybe he's a Buddhist, maybe he's in Gnosticism, maybe he's an atheist, maybe he's a Christian, I don't know, maybe he's a Roman Catholic, I have no clue. But when you meet this significant other and you feel this chemistry, the first thing that's so important is that you guys start at a place of respect, meaning he has certain views, you have certain views, and you guys are mature enough to respect each other's ideals and opinions. To me, that's what's important. And it starts with a foundation of communication. You got to be able to talk. You got to be able to talk through the hard things. You got to be able to talk through the easy things. You got to talk. Communication is what strengthens the bond, not fucking. Just wanted to put that out for anybody that was concerned. That's why dudes can come over and fuck girls for years and have no commitment to them. Because sex ain't the connector. That ain't the connector. Just let's start there. It's beautiful when done correctly, but that ain't the connector. So you guys got to be able to respect each other. You cannot call him a crazy Christian and expect for him to not call you a motherfucking witch. Okay? It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. As you practicing your Ifa with your cowrie shells and your deities and your Oshun and your Ogun, you cannot expect for him to be considerate of your religious beliefs or lack thereof when you making fun of the Bible every day. When you making fun of the Bible, or you throwing Florida water at the church. You can't do it. You just can't motherfucking do it. So we're going to start with a foundation of respect. Very key. Because when you respect your king, he respects you. And it also comes with, like I said, the law of vibration. Your vibe attracts your tribe. Do not be pulled into name calling, even though it may be funny sometimes. It is very hurtful to the subconscious. People don't understand that. Do not be pulled into name calling. You don't even have to be baited into an argument. If you yourself do not feel comfortable with arguing, and this was a hard one for me, because I was raised from a family that if you start an argument, oh, it's on. We whopping, we yacking. No, you don't even have to be baited into an argument. My husband has perfected this key. So when we get into a disagreement, he checks out. He's like, hey, I can't do this right now. I'm not a great arguer, if that's a word, and I'm not going to be able to do this. And it took years for me to respect the fact that, hey, that is a choice. If he doesn't want to have this discussion right now, maybe it is best that we disconnect, wait till the energies and the vibes are better, and then discuss the topic. Now, flip side, you have to be able to discuss the hard topics with your significant other, because disagreements are places to create boundaries, safe and secure boundaries, because no one is in your mind. Nobody can read your mind. Nobody knows that you don't like how people sound when they chewing. Shit, I can't even hear. So that don't bother me, but it may bother somebody else. And that is a place for you to say, hey, listen, respectfully, this is something that really bothers me. And then they go, okay, cool. Well, I'll see if I can work on that. And if you got a real one, he gonna say, well, let's dig a little bit deeper and find out why. Why does that bother you? Like, why is that something that really affects you? Because there are things in this world that you should be worried about bigger than somebody fucking chewing. But those are the respectful conversations you got to have with your significant other, so you can get to a point where your bond is strengthened and you consider building a family, and you consider building generational wealth, and you consider purchasing land and owning businesses. These are the conversations that got to start in the beginning. So does it have to do with him holding the Bible? Fuck no. It has to do with him being respectful of your opinion, and you likewise. Secondly, it's this thing that I like to call growth. Now, growth is a very elusive creature, because as you're growing, you never notice it. There will be times you can live in a house with a kid and you can't even tell the exact day when your son's voice changed and now he sound like a grown man. One morning you woke up and opened the door and hey, mom, and you like, who the fuck is in my son's room? So growth is an elusive, in my Steve Irwin, it's an elusive creature. It is an elusive creature. Okay? Which means that as you're growing, which you're supposed to be doing as a conscious person, number one, the Egyptians say, a day you have not learned is a day you have not lived. So every day on your agenda should be to learn something so you can ascend and vibrate higher, or experience something out of your typical norm so you can have a different perspective on those who are different than you. This is our responsibility. We are responsible, unfortunately, for furthering the collective consciousness. So the more conscious you get, the more conscious people get around you. Believe it or not. Starting with the kids, starting with the parents. Hopefully not the people at work, but if you cool with the people at work, maybe the people at work. So as you're growing, you may have started off in a pro-black journey. There are a lot of pro-blackers that still is Bible thumpers. Okay? Now, as you get further down in your conscious journey, you start to notice that your pro-blackness is hindering you from holding that Bible as close as you used to your heart. Because you get to the origin of the Bible. You get who wrote the Bible. You get to the reasons why the Bible was written. You get to the reasons of, are the characters in the Bible even real? And I ain't talking about that, is Jesus black? We passed that. Come on, y'all. We know better than that. We ain't going to war about if Jesus is black. We know he didn't exist, okay? Let's not even go there. But, so, you start to release the Bible. And then you start tiptoeing into metaphysics. So you start to realize how certain rituals will actually affect your reality. This is your growth state. This is your growth state in your conscious journey. This is around the time when you release perms, because you realize that even though, like they said, Madam C.J. Walker was the dopest, and I heard this in another video, Madam C.J. Walker was the dopest. She was actually pushing an agenda to conform everything that black people love about themselves. So, you release the perm. You then decide to release certain holidays. You know, these are things that you do, and you haven't looked back. And now in 3 years, you went from having a perm and twerking, okay, to doing community service and teaching your children a more holistic way to live and using crystals as healing and herbs and things like that. You've grown as a person and your spirituality. Now, when you meet this gentleman, he also has to grow. Now, ladies, I'm about to put y'all on some shit that's so motherfucking deep. It's so deep. It's so deep. It's so deep. And I need you to ride with me because you got to be open-minded. All right. This society right now is set up to empower the black woman and emasculate the black man, which means that when he steps out of your doors, has it really, really rough. So as he navigates and moves through the world, he has to be number one on his P's and Q's at all times. He has the responsibility of his children on his back. He has his responsibility of making sure that you're okay. Some black kings have the responsibility of making sure their entire family unit is together. I'm going to say it. I got to say it. Spirituality takes time. Spirituality takes time. And what this king does not have is time. They are locking our men up. They are killing them. They are emasculating them. I'm sorry to say, every time you see in the mass media a black man with a dress on who is not homosexual, understand that there is a hidden agenda behind that. So this man got to navigate in the world. And then when he comes home, his peace is you. He ain't got time to read a motherfucking book. You cannot get upset because he's not, well, what book did you read today? This man is trying to live. This man is trying to survive. Every time a cop drive by, regardless if his tags is right or not, he, in the back of his mind, is like, man, if I get pulled over, I could possibly get shot dead and not make it home. So please be a little bit more considerate on his spiritual or religious journey. Because at this point in time, unfortunately, I'm sad to say, it is survival. Survival is of the most importance to this gentleman. Not reading a motherfucking book. And let me put you D. A lot of them people in church don't even read the Bible, okay? That's why they go to church. I'm just saying. Because if you really read the Bible back and forth and dissected it, you would know shit is fucking charades. I'm just joking. But if you read it, you would like to start to understand the content and not the bigger picture of what everybody has quote unquote said it is supposed to be. So please, please, please be understanding. He may have started out in a Christian background and now he meets you. And what you don't understand is, like Janet Jackson, it's a moth to a flame burned by the fire. So they say spiritual women attract broken men. Okay? Unfortunately, this society is amazing at creating broken men. So when he comes to you, your job is not to be the conscious Jehovah's Witness, but your job is to vibrate higher. When you do your reading, take your book, say, hey, at the dinner table, let's talk about this. When you creating your meals, preparing your meals for your family, and y'all sit down at the table, which y'all better be doing. Don't eat in front of that TV. Turn the phones off, sit around and ask each other how y'all day was. That's how you build a bond with your children. Some of y'all, I'm not going to say this, but sometimes children grow up and disconnect from their parents because they was already disconnected. You got to create that bond. You wonder why you meet people and you be like, hey, when the last time you seen your mother? And they be like, I don't know, 15 years. The fuck? How the fuck you ain't seen your mother in 15 years and you okay with that? Because the bond wasn't created as a child. The child lived independently. The mother lived independently. And they just lived until the kid got old enough. Create the bonds. All right. Sorry, I always go off on these tangents, but it is what it is. So as you cook these sprouts or you add ginger to the tea that you make for the family, then you explain it to them. You go, like I say, sniffles, got to get the lemons in the tea. We coughing, got to get ginger. And as you do these and you repeat, because repetition is the way we learn. Symbols, repetition, trauma, unfortunately, you start to emit a certain light. And we are light beings. We all love the light. Eternal light, that is. Christos energy. I ain't say Christ, I said Christos energy. They will pick up on that. So he will then understand and grow with you. And I'm going to tell you something. Ain't nothing fucking better than being able to grow with somebody and look back and see where you started and where you have came. That is something that we don't appreciate anymore. Because I did say growth. Don't do that to me, ladies. I did say growth. I did not say we've been together for 15 years. And no. I mean grow together. That would be building, learning, and strengthening the bond. Not fucking. Okay? Not him just showing up and y'all, we common law married. He ain't even put a ring on your finger, sis. Y'all ain't growing. Y'all niggas is roommates. Real shit. And sorry to go off on this tangent, but a closed mouth don't get fed. There's nothing wrong with putting in the universe of what you want. Since you want to be married, say that shit. Since you want a business, say that shit. Like, that is part of manifesting. You don't have to. I don't want him to feel funny because I want him to feel funny. You goddamn right. If I say I want to be motherfucking married and he don't want to motherfucking marry me, then you got to go find a nigga that will. All right, now I'll let that go. Understanding your king has trials and tribulations. He doesn't have time to read a book. I don't give a goddamn what these memes say. If you want to get to her, read a book and send her the passage and ask her, has she read that shit? Listen. In the country, they call it culting. People do a lot of things to cult. And then after they cult, that shit usually die off anyway. Come to me in your authentic self so I can know what the fuck you getting at. Don't tell me that you done read the Egyptian Book of the Dead and then when I start quoting shit from it, you looking at me crazy. No. I want you to be your authentic self because trust me, I can't hide this. I can't hide this even if I wanted to. So I have to be my authentic self. And that gives the other person an opportunity to know what the fuck they getting into. Because relationships ain't easy when you got a Leo from the Lionsgate. And that's just real shit. So you have to be understanding. His path may not allow him to read several different novels. He may only be able to listen to lectures. Maybe you can go on YouTube and find a dope ass lecture and say, hey, honey, I heard this dope ass lecture. Let me send it to you. Tell me what you think. When you at work, when you working out, whatever you doing, just listen to it in your headphones and let's talk about it later. Or maybe after y'all laying in the bed and y'all done hurched and he's smoking a blunt and you doing whatever you doing, maybe y'all can be like, hey, let's listen to this lecture and see how you feel about it just to build off of it. These are ways. So please be understanding that he doesn't have the time that you have, or his mind state isn't like yours. This is my famous saying. There are twins, okay? Born from the same womb, same mother and father, same egg. And as soon as they able to go like this, they fight each other. So why in the fuck would you think that someone not same womb, not same mother, not same egg, is going to have the same religious beliefs or views that you do. It's not going to happen. So that's why we lay this foundation of respect, growth, and understanding. Where you are spiritually is not going to be where you are in 5 years. Trust me, believe me, it's going to change. It's supposed to change if you're spiritual. Let's get into that. Don't become a crystallologist and don't learn about nothing else. Okay? You're supposed to keep learning. Keep learning. So the last thing that I wanted to touch on was support. Support. You yourself have a support system, and the people that you allow into your environment are then supposed to eventually evolve into your supporters, because what happens is you love somebody so much that you want them to be happy, and those people are happy when they're living their dreams, or they're being creative. And then you go, I support your journey because number one, I want everybody in this world to be happy, and secondly, you see yourself. Every book you read, every lecture you watch, you are looking to learn yourself. So when you see someone out here living their best life and being creative, you don't just support them because they happy. You support them because eventually you see yourself in that. You're like, man, I'm going to do that shit. I'm going to get a camera with a BB can. You see that shit. And so you go, okay, cool. I'm going to support you because that's the real shit I want to be. I want to be happy. And sometimes being happy ain't balling. It ain't about monetary or materialistic goals. It's just about freedom. All right, so we talked about the respect, we talked about the growth, and we talked about the understanding. Now we get into the facts. I said if y'all could just wait for me for 1 second. For 1 second, we was going to get into this. Now, sometimes as black people, the first thing we do is exclude each other. He doesn't eat vegan, so I can't fuck with him. The biggest part of being in prison mentally. Now, unfortunately, we go throughout our day-to-day and we do not realize that there are a lot of post-traumatic slave syndromes. And there is a lot of mind control that we deal with on a daily basis that came way before we were ever a twinkle in our parents' eye. And we don't realize that we pass these things on. So, the reason why when you meet your significant other or you choose your group of friends is one, because you're protecting your peace and your mental state, but also you choose based off of the Willie Lynch theory. Here we go. I always take this thing home. So, if you haven't read in depth the Willie Lynch letter, I suggest you do, because until you read this, you won't understand why you make a lot of the decisions that you make. A lot of these things that we do, as far as if he's not vegan, I can't deal with him, is because we have been programmed since we came over on a slave ship named Jesus. Okay? So there are a few points that I want to touch on, and this paragraph, the reason why you feel like you can't deal with a Christian or the Christian can't deal with the spirituality is because of things that have been stuck. So the first paragraph I want to touch on is the breaking process of the African American woman. This is page 3 of the Willie Lynch theory. And basically what it says is, in order for you to build a wonderful slave, okay, you have to imprison them mentally and physically. That's number 1. And it says that take the female and run a series of tests on her to see if she is willing to submit to your desires. Test her in every way that is most important, in every way imaginable, because she is a factor of good economy. If she shows any signs of resisting or submitting completely to your will, do not hesitate to bullwhip her to the exact last bits of resistance are removed. Take care not to kill her, for in doing so, you will spoil, once again, a good economy. Understanding is the best thing. Therefore, we shall go deeper into revising relationships that nature has selected. So pretty much, they said that the female, prior to being quote unquote Western civilized, had a strong dependency on the uncivilized male, which is our warrior class. Our warrior class, which is a very important class of men, because these are the men who will support you through revolution. These are the men that will never allow anything to come in your house or harm your children. The warrior class, honey, we ain't gonna get into the benefits of being with the warrior class. It does have its trials and tribulations, but when you get you a good warrior, So, if you're wondering what a warrior is not, go watch, what was that Key and Peele movie when sis had to protect the house? What is it? Us. I think that's what it was. Them people ran all over that man until he grabbed his nuts. That ain't it. I'm just saying, that ain't it. Even if you was to watch Queen and Slim, it took him a while to become a warrior, and then hence the growth we talked about. But so it says that she would have a strong dependency on an uncivilized nigga male, and she would have limited protective tendencies towards her independent male offsprings, who would raise male offspring to be dependent like her. So when you reset your brain, changing 10 generations in the future, and we ain't even gonna talk about, like I said, it's a collective consciousness. So the more you learn, the better you are for your entire people that you support. So this is a paragraph that I highlighted that I want you to quickly understand. It says nature had provided for this type of that balance, which means that in your natural state, prior to being civilized, the men would be a warrior class. He would support and hunt, and the woman would nurture the children, because that is not seen of a sign of lesser or not being great. In African spirituality, we stress the importance of balance. So as he provides for you and you take care of the home and the children, you are then securing your future generations. And wealth in Africa is not based off material possessions. And if it is now, that's a whole Western mind. But a long time ago, it was based on the strength and the numbers of your family and how able you were to continue your religion or your practices or your family like rituals. So that is what was valuable, not Gucci's or Prada's or shit like that. So it basically says that nature has provided a state of balance. What they do is they reverse the scales of the balance. So we reverse nature by burning and pulling the civilized nigga apart and bull whipping the others to the point of death, all in her presence. So this would consist of all of the internet shootings you see of men. This is no way by mistake. That's why certain things are allowed on Facebook and certain things are not, because they are for your eyes. That's how they made it to your timeline. The point is for you to have an internal fear and you to feel like it is your job to protect your king, when in all actuality, you're supposed to stand side by side and make sure that everything is okay. And in physical matters, he's supposed to step up because that's how he was created, to be physically stronger. Okay, so by her being left alone, unprotected, with the male destroyed, this ordeal causes her to move from her psychological dependence her psychological dependence on the uncivilized male to a state of frozen independence. In this frozen psychological state of independence, she will raise her males and female offspring in reverse roles. So, let's say that, for instance, you grew up in a house where there was no dad. You watched your mom be independent, you watched your mom date, but you never watched your mom, I hate to say it, ladies, be submissive. That's a better way, not submit. Be submissive to a male. So now you go out and you go looking for your dude, and when your dude says, "Hey, honey, what's for dinner?" You be like, "Dinner? Motherfucker, cook your own dinner." And that is the cycle that we repeat constantly, and we don't understand why we can't get along as a society. We have to be able to be considerate of certain things and understand how the balance actually was and try your best to get back to that natural state. Is very, very, very key. It's very key. It's very, very, very key to make sure that you are okay with being understanding and understanding why that when he didn't eat the vegan burger, you got turned off. Sis, let me tell you something. They getting locked up and killed at rates that you would not believe. Period. The number game ain't even looking that good for our black kings. Even though we are not the minority, we are the majority. So if you gonna cut somebody off because they ate a piece of steak, but he took you to Ruth Chris, your mind ain't right, sis. I'm just being real. Your mind ain't right. Is he successful? It's okay if he's different. That's the same as it's okay if they light skin. It's okay if they athletic and you're not. You feel me? It's okay. The point is not to have the same mind. The point is to be respectful to each other. The point is to understand each other's growth. The point is to be understanding of each other. And the point is to support each other. That is the point. It is not to make someone a clone of you. And I'm just gonna keep it all the way a buck. If you press your views on a strong male, he gonna rebel. Because you can't tell him what to do. I said it. Y'all ain't gonna like it, but I said it. And I ain't taking that shit back. Because I'm trying to raise little warriors that when they go out on a date, she not buying him nothing. Not because she don't got it, because he is king. He is king. It's certain things that a king gotta do. You don't get to be a king and not do certain shit. If you sitting in your house and you don't understand why shit ain't going your motherfucking way, maybe you ain't doing the kingly shit. I said it. I fucking said it. And it is 2020. And we got time to build our reality. So now we got to understand the fact that your process of selection has been fucked up since Willie Lynch wrote that motherfucking letter. Now, the next topic I want to talk about is the nigga merge. Let me tell y'all what page this is on. This is page 4 of the Willie Lynch letter. The topic, the paragraph is called the nigger marriage, okay? It says, we breed 2 nigger males with 2 nigger females. Then we take the nigger males away from them and keep them moving and working. Say one nigger female bears a nigger female and the other bears a nigger male. Both nigger females, being without influence of the high nigger male image, are frozen with an independent psychology, will raise their offspring in a reverse position. The one with the female offspring will teach her to be like her, independent, negotiable. We negotiate with her, through her, and by her. We negotiate with her will, which means that society and the Westerners only negotiate with the women. They don't negotiate with the men. And that is also a sign of taking his masculinity. Okay, because he is supposed to be the forefront. So you removed him from the forefront. Now you're only talking to her. And that means in some ways, subconsciously, he must submit, that is not the balance or order of things. All right, it says, the one with the nigger male offspring, she being frozen with a subconscious fear of his life, which means that, Cliff, I'm making a video. The one with the nigger male offspring, she being frozen with a subconscious fear of his life, will raise him to be mentally dependent and weak, but physically strong. In other words, body over mind, when it's never supposed to be that. It is supposed to be mind over body. Now, in a few years, these nigger offspring will become fertile for early reproduction, and we will mate and breed them and continue the cycle psychologically and physically. This is good, sound, and long-range comprehensive plan to break the African American and keep them in a mental prison. So now, just when you thought that you were an independent, woman and you picked based off of how you felt and what you thought was good to you, is that true? Are you selecting your significant other based off of what you think is good and what you think is true? Or are you mentally imprisoned by this Willie Lynch letter? Are you? Have you subconsciously taught your son to stand behind you? Have you subconsciously? Have you subconsciously said that I'm only going to pick a guy who is not of the warrior class? Are these the things that you have subconsciously taught yourself to? And we're not even going to get into, oh my God, the creation of manipulation. We're not even going to get into that. Because basically also what the Willie Lynch letter did was it then told the woman that there were only certain things that she was of value for. So that means that if someone tells you like, hey, you're a great reader, that means that when you grow up, you're like, hey, I'm a great reader. So this is my trade. This is my skill. And this is how I'm going to get paid. Now reverse that. If society has taught you that your skill or what you're good at is twerking, now you will use that as a means to get paid. And I'm just being honest. That's how it goes. So you don't realize that you are using your sexuality to manipulate certain situations. And to be completely honest, the strongest and prettiest thing on a woman is her mind and her smile, not her body. It ain't never been. Now, of course, you're supposed to be attractive. I mean, I ain't gonna say you ain't got eyes, but I will say this. Some of the things that we put an emphasis on doesn't fucking matter, like straight hair. Come on now, people. We bigger than this. We bigger than this. So when you talk about dating a spiritual woman, the spiritual woman, and it's like, I saw something that said, dating a spiritual woman is all good until she gets smart. Well, listen, everybody gonna get smart, sis. Nobody's gonna agree with you. That's not how it's gonna go. Please do not live your life based on Western ideas of how a relationship should go. Relationships do not have to agree, but you do have to be respectful of each other. Now, the next time you choose a significant other, I suggest, just a suggestion, while you think that you're choosing and picking based off the things you like, I suggest you take a look at this Willie Lynch letter. Even if you make it only to page 5 or page 10 of this letter, I want you to understand why you think how you think. And once you understand how you're programmed, you can start to reset and deprogram. This is one of the reasons. Now, oh my goodness, I got to find this paragraph. This is one of the paragraphs I read a whole bunch. And basically what it says is, you have to keep the Negro distracted. You have to keep the Negro distracted, because once you remove the distractions, the Negro can then focus on learning himself, becoming a stronger minded person, and empowering and growing. So how do they keep us distracted? Well, they stir the pot and always make sure that we are in a state of constant turmoil, that we don't agree with each other for any fucking reason. The lights against the darks. This is the exact words, because I've read this Willie Lynch letter 3 times. Put the old against the young, put the light against the dark, put the men against the women, put the young against the old. Put the stronger readers against the weaker readers. So you don't even understand. And I talk about this all the time. When you talk about conscious folk, you can go online right now, put in conscious debate, and all you're going to see is people going against each other, when that is the most craziest thing ever. If you on your conscious journey, you have to be open and honest enough to respect someone else. So if they feel like Ifa started everything with Ogun and Oshun and Obatalo and Yemenya, then you got to be okay enough to feel like, hey, listen, I'm going to respect you, but I feel like Aset, Sar, Nut, and Tefnut are the ones that created the universe. You have to be considerate enough to do that. You can't say, I'm an Egyptologist and I don't deal with the Hebrew Israelites. Are you serious? Are you serious? You don't deal with people that look like you? That's one of the reasons why we have a problem in unity. That's one of the problems why the homes are broken. Because he dark-skinned, but he don't mess with light-skinned chicks. Are you serious? Are you fucking serious? Does that even matter? He is an educated Negro, and you have been experienced from De La Ghetto. So y'all don't get along. Are you serious? You guys have more in common than what you would fucking know. You would have more in common than what you knew. So whenever you have an issue with the opposite sex, feminism, I don't need no nigga, you a motherfucking lie. For the 2020, you a motherfucking lie. That's not true. And let me tell you why that's not true. The point is to be fruitful and multiply. Can you do that without a nigga? If you ain't going to use them for nothing else but to make a baby, God damn it, you need a nigga. Babies don't come by themselves. So, I'm just saying, keep in mind that a lot of the reasons why you believe, why you think, how you think is because they have been handed down from generation to generation. Please do yourself a favor and read the Willie Lynch letter. And when you read it, if you get frustrated, it's okay. It's okay. You're a byproduct. Can you imagine if you were the slaves that they laid the groundwork on? One of the universal laws that is most important when going through your trials and tribulations, selecting a mate, dating, is to base your things off of it's like the law of relativity. I think that's what it's called. I could be wrong. And basically you are supposed to say, okay, cool. I know I'm going through a struggle, but it ain't got shit on Harriet Tubman. I know I'm going through hell and high water, but it ain't got shit to do on the Trail of Tears. Okay? So that is how you derive your strength. You don't sit in a box and say, oh man, I'm so mad because I can't pay my rent. Can you imagine living on a fucking plantation? Can you? Can you? You cannot. So ladies, spiritual ladies, my creators, my nurturers, my people that are in charge of making the future, please become open-minded. Please base the qualities that you want in a man not based off of trivial shit like religion and what he eat. As you educate yourself, you then educate the world. He understands when you understand. Your vibe attracts your tribe. Please do not cut off or enclose yourself from a supportive family because they are Christians and you are not. That is going right in the guidelines of the Willie Lynch letter. So please keep that in mind when selecting a significant other. And if you guys have any problems with religion or views or anything, just play this video. I mean, you could put me on TV, real shit. Like, you really could, screen or YouTube widget me and put me on the TV and y'all really could discuss this shit, chop it up. And now I ain't famous. So if you want to jump in my thing and say, hey, me and my dude watched this video and we don't agree, as long as you're respectful. Me and my dude watched this video and we think it's the dopest thing ever. Hey, it's a point of conversation in order to produce thoughts and help us grow. That's all it is. It's my opinion. It don't make it right. But when you have an opinion, you have to base it on facts. So before you come for this video, or if you agree with this video, please go online and read the Willie Lynch letter so you can understand why you as a spiritual woman is having a problem with being with a man that is not the same as you. Comment, hell yeah. Subscribe, hell yeah. Follow me on Facebook. Follow me on IG. I got a Twitter. Give me a second. I got a Patreon that is content that you haven't seen or you may have seen a long time ago on the Patreon. It's like $1 to sign up. Sign up with me. If you click the notifications button, that means that every time I start running my mouth, you will definitely get a notification. And hey, I always say great stuff. My husband agrees. I mean, he gets tired of it sometimes, but I say great shit. Oh, and last but not least, I got a cruise. I got a fucking cruise. I got a Wayspeed cruise going on in July. If you are interested in the cruise, hit me in the DM. Also, real quick, my baby is here. Right now, we're rolling up on our 7th waist measurement challenge where you join to win. It's a Wayspeed challenge. It's a group of spiritual women that become each other's accountability partners, help each other to ascend. We work on diet, we work on lifestyle, we work on everything that you can imagine that is important to a woman. And at the end of that journey, the woman who loses the most inches will receive a mystery box. This is my 7th mystery box that I sent out, and you could also have it if you're interested in joining. What the waist measurement challenge is comprised of we meet together on a video chat 2 days a week, so I get to know you as a person, which I feel like is really dope. I have people all the way from, let me get it right, St. Kitts, Trinidad, Tobago, Europe, and I even made it to Japan. So when you talk about a diverse group of women, this is where you need to be. Your vibe attracts your tribe. So if you're interested in the waist measurement challenge that's coming up in February, jump in the comments. If you feel like this video is dope, jump in the comments. If you cruising with us, jump in the comments. Please like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate you so much. And at the end of the day, your edges should never be laid like they was used to.
I said my edges ain't laid, edges ain't laid, so my edges ain't laid like they used to. I said my edges ain't laid like they used to. I said my edges ain't laid like they used to. I said my edges ain't laid, edges ain't laid, so my edges ain't laid like they used to. No, sir.